Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Nitrostorm here. Welcome back to Revive Witch. So, we're on our non-free-to-play account today, and as you can see, I'm pretty broke. You know, I did go in on Isabel as well, but considering I didn't get that lucky on my non-free-to-play for a Dean, and had to go on this banner as well, back to back. Well, as you can see, my funds have now been lowered. In any case, the reason why we're on this account today is because whilst I was pulling for Isabel's weapon, her unique equipment, the game actually gave me two of Celanya's UE twice. Like, they gave me twice of it before I got Isabel's. But before I upgraded it, I thought I should leave them both at level 1 UE so they can be compared. Now, the thing about the UE is that at the moment, Isabel would have an edge over Celanya because of her passive, where she gets a lot of crit chance from her passive alone, while Celanya, while she doesn't have that, she does have an ignore defense mechanic, and that's about it. And her unique equipment boosts her damage by 22% for 30 seconds upon entering combat. Now, I think the first thing that we'll do is that we will just compare them in the training grounds, just making them deal damage. And just to clarify for this part, as you can see, the gift part, it only increases her defense stats, so DPS wise it doesn't really affect it. Now, the team that we're going to be using them with, let's reset this one. Actually, no, this is fine. So we're going to start off with the Amorai comp alongside the full boost in red, because why not? And then to double check on the gear, so we'll keep it the same. So this is Amorai's gear, just increasing attack, and then this is Catherine's. And then we'll keep them both without any gear, just to make it more consistent. Now, apologies if the recording's a bit laggy. Hopefully it doesn't affect it that much. So now let's test the lineup. So turn on the DPS, and then we're gonna check the DPS and the total damage right after the first Arcana burst ends. So right as it ends, 20 mil and about 80k DPS. So 20 mil damage. That's the most important thing that we need to know. It was at 20 mil. So hopefully the footage wasn't too laggy. Now let's change that to Isabel, and then we'll test the exact same thing. Turn DPS. Oh, we'll have to reset. Apologies for that. There you go. Turn on a DPS. Again, this time we're going to check the total damage right after the first Arcana burst ends. Okay, 46 mil. Oh my god, hold on a minute. I mean, okay, so considering Celanya has 30 seconds on her thing, we'll try and do it until the cooldown of the first Arcana burst ends. So right now, it does seem like against single target, Isabel is dealing more than double Celanya's damage. Now, of course, you could argue that it's thanks to her critical rate, because without any equipment and stuff, Celanya will be lacking in crit, and so she won't be able to utilize her damage. So let's equalize this, right? We'll equalize it. So all we need to do is just give crit rate to Celanya, and here we go. We can just borrow a little bit of crit rate from Kamui's gear, right? So we do get crit damage as well. So this might be a bit of an unfair test. However, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? You know what I mean? I think it might make a big difference. But, you know, just to take it with a grain of salt. So we've given Celanya more crit rate and more crit damage, and then we're keeping Isabel the same, right? So we're gonna, this time we're gonna check until the end of the cooldown after the first Arcana burst. So we're only gonna look at total damage because I think DPS is gonna fluctuate during, and so we'll just look at the total damage. Okay, so we did reach 100k DPS, so okay, 38 mil, 40 mil, 2, 1, okay, 47 mil and 110k DPS. So remember that, guys, 47 mil total damage, 110k DPS at that point. And just to double check and clarify to you guys, she does have more crit rate and more crit damage, just to, you know, try and equalize and balance the crit rate that Isabel gains from her passive, just to make it a little more fair, I guess. But I guess you could argue that it's unfair for Isabel, but in any case, turn this on. Alright, so the total damage to beat is 47 mil, and the DPS to beat is 110k. And then the time limit for that is until the end of the Arcana burst cooldown. Alright, so under 10 seconds left. 78 mil and nearly 200k DPS. So obviously you might think this is unfair because Celanya is AoE, but if you have to understand and consider that a lot of the endgame content is mainly consisting of a single boss that either deals damage or has a ton of HP, or both. But yes, as you can see, the damage that they're dealing is pretty significantly different, right? So one more test before we do something else. We'll do Celanya with the equipment, with auto-equip. Here we go. So we're going to be giving them the same exact gear. So this is her stats with it. 33% crit rate and then 167 crit damage. Maybe perhaps I should use this one, but my critical chance is low. So we'll just use this one for more consistency. This will be the armor. And then this is the ring. So yeah, we're going to be using this one for more crit rate. These are her stats. So let's take a look at this now in battle. So DPS on. So we're going to be using the same time frame, so until the cooldown ends after this first burst. And we're going to be looking at the total damage and the DPS. Alright, so we are critting more often, so this might give us a more accurate depiction of the damage. So 85 mil and 220k DPS, alright? I think that was 85 mil and 220k DPS. Alright, so keep that in mind, guys. The score to beat is 85 mil and 220k DPS. So for a fair test, we're going to be using the exact same gear as the Celanya. And theoretically speaking, regardless if we upgrade the unique equipment or not, the damage difference between the two will either be the same or greater, like the gap between them. So these are her stats after, as you can see, pretty much the same. Now let's test this out. So DPS on, go back. So again, the time constraints will be until the cooldown after the first burst ends. We're aiming to beat 85 mil total damage and 220k DPS. Oh, okay. So 139 mil and around 370k DPS. So, as you saw there, I think the gap has slightly lowered, right? As in, before, Isabel was doing about double the damage of Celanya, but now the damage, you know, is still close to being double the damage that Celanya is dealing. However, it's a little bit less than that. Now, unfortunately, however, if I were to upgrade the unique equipment, that gap between, like the current gap between Isabel and Celanya is only going to increase. So technically at this point, this is the closest Celanya is going to get performance-wise against Isabel. So as you can see, obviously, single target DPS-wise, Isabel was obviously going to perform much better. So we're going to test them both in PvP soon, but we need to test them with a different comp, which is the more popular comp that has been seen in the previous video, where we use Tounel, Amorai, and the DPS. So we're going to be keeping the same build, and we're going to switch to Celanya, and this time we're going to go straight to it with gear. And then after this, we'll try out PvP. So the same time constraints, the cooldown until after the first burst. Actually, we do have to keep in mind the speed at which they gain the Arcana burst. So 54 mil and then 173k DPS. Okay, so we do have to consider the time it takes for them to get to the cooldown period, but I think the DPS speaks for itself, so I don't think it matters too much in terms of making sure that the time measured is the same for both. That's why I'm putting them in recording, so you guys can see for yourself, you know, and if I do make a mistake in terms of observations, do let me know down in the comments below. In any case, we've given her the gear that Celanya has, and now we're going to test out the same comp. So we're going to be doing the same cooldown until after the first Arcana burst cooldown ends. Okay, so I mean, as you can see, the DPS number is pretty much more than double Celanya's one. Yeah, this is actually insane, because the reason being is because in normal auto, full auto, it prioritizes Amorai's S1, which gives 4 chaos, which is very nice for Isabel. Okay, so we actually defeated it. But yeah, this is why this comp is the most popular, is because on full auto it just works. So now obviously it was to be expected with her insane kit. Isabel was definitely going to be performing much better than Celanya against single target enemies. But what about PvP, right? So we're going to make it fair, and we're going to be using the same teams. So I mean the same two supports, which is Amorai and Tounel. So for this comp, I think normally I believe that Celanya will take care of this very easily because AoE. And so we're going to be using, okay, not my usual PvP team. We're going to be using a different one this time. So we're going to be trying out this team against this Ella team. And then Amorai, just double check that she has gear. Actually, you know what? Just for you guys, we'll risk it, right? Because if I were to do this on Celanya, it's definitely not going to work, and we're definitely going to lose. But because I can't test both teams against the same team, against the same enemy, if I do it like this, where Isabel wins without gear, then you could say it's confirmed that she performs better. But now I think I'm like limit testing her performance right now. Well, but we're about to find out. Well then, I mean, maybe Celanya could do that too. You know, you never know. It's the reason why I believe that Isabel could do is because she can get, well, I would, yeah, she can get crit rate, I think. Actually, no, her S1 never activates, actually. Alright. So for this team, normally I don't use Celanya against this team because of her. And I know for sure, like 100%, that Isabel's team can definitely take care of this. And so we're going to use the Celanya team. Meaning, if Celanya does work against this comp, then I would say it's a draw between these two. But obviously we're going to have to give Celanya gear because we can't really risk losing right now. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty decent. She did struggle. As you can see, we are struggling against the A Fallen. That's why I gave Celanya gear. She would have been one shot. Alright. Oh, I leveled up. I ignored that. Okay. Oh, hey, Celanya comp. I think technically I should be using Catherine as well, but it's not really necessary when using Isabel. So we're gonna try Isabel again. This time we're gonna give her gear, and let's see how much faster we're gonna finish fighting. Oh, I need to change my weapon and armor. There you go, just to be exactly the same. Alright, so as you can see, the Celanya is going to be very scary unless... Uh-oh. Celanya's still alive, guys. Oh, would you look at that, guys? So, if you don't have Catherine, obviously you're going to get wiped like that. I actually didn't expect that. Alright, we'll do... Okay, so the last time we fought an Ella team, we used Isabel. So we're now going to use Celanya. So technically with Celanya, this comp isn't actually her best comp. I would suggest using Catherine for Celanya. But you know, it does work, so you know, can't really complain. But yeah, as you can see, as I've mentioned, it's obviously going to work for Celanya. Alright, so you know, that's pretty much about it for the two teams. You know, it's safe to say that I guess you could say Celanya's downgraded to AoE stuff. But I think even then, as long as your comp is reasonable, so in this case, if I used Catherine, I wouldn't have lost against that Celanya comp. So just for a quick bonus for you guys, I'll be showcasing a quick showcase, like a sneak preview before I actually make a video on the team. I'll be presenting to you my my current PvP team that I use on this, you know, off cam, you know, just my leisurely PvP team. Of course, I use them on full auto, but we're only gonna do this once because I don't wanna spoil too hard. But essentially speaking, I can't really lose, you know, unless this team makes me lose, because this team was actually very tanky, especially the Amanami, I guess. Oh, look at that! Ella actually managed to transform. However, you know, it doesn't really matter. And then if we take a look at the damage values, pretty decent. All right. So in any case, that's about it for the comparison video. This wasn't really supposed to be like very in-depth in terms of like analyzing their performance and stuff. However, we did do enough formation test dummy testing to see like the differences between the two when they're in the same position, same builds, and same team comps. So I know I haven't shown a comp that uses Catherine and Amorai, but I think it's safe to say that the results will still be similar to that. Isabel would perform better. But actually no, that's what we did at the start. Yeah, we did use Catherine and Amorai already. Apologies for that, I forgot. But in any case, just to clarify what the experiment was about, I used the same builds for these two just to ensure fairness. Same skill level, same level, and same level on the unique equipment, just to keep things very, very consistent. So if you guys got any more questions regarding Celanya and Isabel, do let me know down in the comments below. Hopefully this video was useful and that the footage wasn't too laggy. I'm having actually internet problems lately, which is pretty sad, but we're getting through. So in any case, thank you guys for watching. Again, if you guys got any questions or any advice or anyone needing advice, do let me know down in the comments below. It's been your boy Nitrostorm. I'll see you guys in the next stream or video. Peace.